Karibuni, welcome tuelimishwe kwa masuala ya jamii, tuchunguze sana mbalimbali, tujuzwe juu ya matukio ya kila pembe, tuwapa burudani kwa familia nzima.
Timing is most important. 1 minute is enough. Every other thing that you're demanding for, that is on you. Your expectations are yours. Number two, I have a very amazing and deep friend of mine. He's called Ed. He's also a friend on Facebook. You guys can check him out. And one post that he made, which I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing here, was, number one, you cannot, both as a man and a woman, you cannot go out there adultering and sleeping with everybody that you meet out there. Then you come with the experience of adultery and fornication and peg it on someone else to fulfill your libidos based on your fornication. You get it? So
brother, may you live to see the day.
You cannot have a man who has just been maybe with 2 women and he's just getting on with it and he's keen to keep 1 woman. Then you've slept with a multitude of men out there and you're coming and you're demanding a whole night of marrying. I mean, that one is not owed to anybody. Timing is most important. 1 minute is enough. Every other thing that you're demanding for, that is on you. Your expectations are yours. Number two.
And indeed, welcome to the Men's Den. My name is Likuyani Eli, and that right there is a Shuchi Lumumba who tells me timing is important. This is a previous episode. In case you didn't get to watch it, get on our YouTube channel, The Arts in Heart, subscribe, and switch on the notification bell such that every time we go live, you get the notification. So tonight, we are back in the Men's Den, and I see Shuchi Lumumba is right here with me. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening to you, Mr. Eli. How are you today?
Bro, leo umeng'ara bwana, kwani umepakwa rangi?
Ni mambo yangu tu bana, mambo yangu ya kawaida.
Okay. Such a week, it's already starting to be naambiwa there's been a lot of issues happening, and now we are asking ourselves, when is the right time to throw in the towel and say, unajua, we started with for better for worse, but is it time we now looked at for worse for worse? Kiumane.
Yeah. It's high time we have such clauses around, because tumeanza kuwa it's almost becoming an obvious end. Not really obvious. Obvious isn't the word, but quite a significant end. So a lot of these unions start with, of course, for better for worse, but then in the course of it all, you realize, you know what, this isn't working, and for some reason, you just have to throw in it and say, you know what, ninanawa mikono kama Pilato, niende mali naenda.
Shuchi, what strikes me is, over in the recent past, we've seen a lot of very well-known celebrities actually saying they are opting to stay celibate because relationships for them, it's becoming a matter of the past. Is it because it's a bit difficult to relate? People are demanding too much in these relationships?
I think a lot of relationships are anchored on the wrong things, and perhaps wrong isn't even the word, on quite variable things. And so it becomes really hard to sustain. And like I've always said in this show before, our female gender has a very, very interesting technique or tactic called shifting goalposts. You are never sure what it is they really want. So at any given point when you perhaps think you have achieved these, you get this. You have this bunch of them who say, yo, you know what? I'm not even after your money. I just want you to be able to do this and that and that. Then you do that, and then they go out drinking wine with their friends. Their friends tell them you cannot stay with someone who has nothing. And then now they come the next day and now they tell you, now, you know what? Manze, me, I cannot stay with a man who's not making this and that here and there financially. You go and look for that finance, and they come back now. They say, okay, now you see what you're looking for finances, but you're never here. You're not available. I can't be with a man who's not. It's always shifting and shifting and shifting. So I think in the long run, again, it frustrates a little bit. But this perhaps could be on both ends. Although blanketly, I would just say I think our expectations generally in relationships are never properly tabled at the beginning of it. So it really becomes difficult to know exactly what is expected of you from the other side and what you actually need to expect from the other side as well. So a lot of men are going through it, and eventually una realize, manze, people realize it's a bit harder over here than it was on the other side.
Okay. As we continue with this conversation, let me just welcome everybody on the Men's Den, and we have Boniface Witabo says ako ndani kabisa. Yusuf anasema pray, anasema we omba tu kitakuwa sawa. Then we say who is here? Noreen says niko ndani, and then just Carol says for better. For us is not. They want the glorious times of life, and we have Noreen who said tuache Shuchi angare tafadhali. Okay, tumemwacha. Tumesema hapa kaende. So Shuchi, ninaona African man anajitayarisha lakini ya join links. Sasa sijui tumfanye nini kwa sababu ni kama inamsumbua kidogo. But right about now I see the African man is set and ready to go. African man, if you can hear me, good evening to you. How are you? Awe hatukusikii bwana, wewe tengeza kamera urudi. So, Eshuchi, who should actually say this question, or rather say I quit? Because that has been the most thing that holds a lot of men. A lot of men feel like it's unmanly to quit the game because they're supposed to be providing leadership.
I don't think that is the reason men can't say I quit. It is just in our nature. If you notice, even when your upgrowing rather, as a man, I think we're designed not to be comfortable hurting women. That's why it's difficult for even a man to turn down a woman. It's difficult for a man. Yes, it is difficult. When a woman doesn't want you, they just don't want you, and they'll tell you, I don't want you. And they walk away, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. You're going to get hurt and all that. But I think it's almost in a man's nature to try and not be emotionally hurtful to women. And so this then makes men shoulder things that they have quit so long ago. And that's why most relationships, even if the man was comfortable quitting, for some reason, it is the lady who will end up calling the shot. Because, the lady will say, oh, me, I think we're not working anymore. And then you realize, this guy was comfortable with this whole arrangement. He's comfortable with the end of this whole thing. So I think it's a hard thing for man to initiate because we are afraid to hurt women. Women are not afraid to hurt us. So sometimes you find a man trying to push it to the very, very end. But dearly for unions and especially marriages, if you ask me for statistics, it's women who try to push them, to really push them to stay. Men easily give up on them than women would. But even when men are given up on them, they will just still stay. A man will stay with you for even 10 years when he left.
He already moved.
He moved. He just comes and goes. Anafanya mambo yake anaenda kwingine.
And why is it so? I mean, why is it for you as a gentleman? And I know we've said we are afraid of hurting the other gender, but we get hurt enough times, but we still shoulder it in the sake of protection and not being the first one to call the shots of I quit. Sasa mimi niko hapa na shanga, mbona nikae na mtu ananisumbua akili Shuchi? Why?
But you see, that's why men of my caliber, and men of my caliber, I mean men like me, we always end up getting the roughest end of it, because I'm the kind of a man to tell you, hey, this is not working. I'm the kind of a guy to tell you, yo, this is draining too much of my energy, and I think this isn't working. But I just noticed over time, I've really interacted with my fellow men, and I've established this is not a very easy thing coming from men, because there's always that, or there's always, I think men need to go a long way to be able to genuinely say things. There are things that I think society made men feel they demand them. These things demand the men, and so they don't say them. For things as simple as saying, I am broke, I can't afford what you're asking for. Simple things like those. So it starts from that all the way to saying, you know what, man, this isn't working. And then usually at the beginning,
things as simple as saying, I am broke,
I think Matasio is doing the Matasio effect. He's trying to say it's there. Good evening, Matasio. Kindly don't watch the show as you're streaming it. Can you hear us?
I think Matasio is doing the Matasio.
Jesus Christ. Matasio, can you come to the show?
Thank you very much. Thank you. This change of time is giving me so much stress, but I'm following. Thank you. Yes. Go on. I'm here. It is quite a sensitive topic, so let me breathe in and then I join in. Let me just take a breather, then I join in again. Yeah.
Okay. You want to breathe in as you breathe out, but let me not give you that luxury, because we are not here for you to breathe in and out. Save that for the PE lessons. For right about now, I want us to understand who should be the first to quit the relationship when things are not working, because apparently men have a hard time calling it quits.
Yeah, I think the question is, the first person to quit is the one who's having the biggest problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a man and you feel like this is not really what, it's not getting anywhere, it is good to call it quits. But I know men, we are fighters. We try to go to the what we call the bitter end. And it's not a bitter end, but it's the hope of making things better. When you are a caretaker and the other one is caretaken, there are two different ways. It's not very easy to stop taking care of something you feel like you have to take care of. But it's easy to walk away when you're getting an offer. So in most cases, it's been always very complicated with, should I stay or should I go? You know the song, should I stay or should I go? Yeah. The right question for me is, when should a man quit?
Okay, let's start with that. When should a man quit?
When should a man quit? It is very difficult, because rarely do men start things so as to leave it in the middle. That is one thing. And men find it difficult to set a point on quitting, because they prefer not to quit but find solutions. So that's why we always find a situation where men will tolerate a lot. And people ask, why are you not quitting? Why are you still involved in this? But it's always just because we are, I think men are channeled to find solutions than walk away from problems. So that is why we always find like there's always another hope of trying it another way. For example, what my brother Ishuchi says, talk about finance. I think that is that is something that we can really put on the ground, because I see it's not about therapy a lot today. It's practical things.
Those guys, wameenda huko watu wa therapy.
Your therapy kwanza watu waendange sana. Wametoroka hii topic. They are running away from this topic because they are, I see some of them calling them relationship, I don't know what, relationship therapists or whatever. It's not very easy. So, but anyway, it all boils to the point that it is not about quitting for a man in most cases. It is about finding a solution. Then that complicates things. So when we come to something like finances, there's a lot of men who go some of them even take the loans, take financial loans, not because they really are needed, but just because maybe the partner or the lady has set a financial level somewhere. On my birthday, if you don't hire a limousine, it is not a bad day. You understand? So you find you will even take a loan to make some of these physical things to be realized or materialized. So the moment to quit is when, for me, I would say, when it is not going, when you're not achieving the goals. Because first of all, in any relationship, you set up goals. You understand? In courtship, again, you are in courtship and you know very well, okay, we are courting now, it's time for holidays, even if the wedding comes, there is a time for honeymoon. But if you get somebody is stuck on the parting life, You meet in clubs, you still go on, but somebody is just stuck at the level of making party. Then it's a time to quit. Yeah. What makes you quit? Put down your own red flags. Put down your own red flags. You know, the first time somebody goes like, okay, you know, unnecessary financial needs, for example. You know very well, this is my career, anajua mshahara yako ni hivi, you are a person of 2,000, 200,000 Kenya shillings a month. There is no way you'll be expected with that same income to achieve something. So if you find out that because of a relationship, you are starting to live beyond your means, that's the first red flag.
Okay.
Then you can calculate when to go on or when to quit. Now, what makes a lot of men also find it difficult to put on the quitting point, because then you are ahead of a family. You know, we always say the captain is the last one to jump off. So there is no way you say you are a driver, you are a captain, and then you jump off while the other passengers are still there. So it's very normal for the man to jump off the last one, just because you are the captain. So in that case, this one of I quit, I think is a lady's thing.
Okay, fine. Eshuchi, you want to come in before we take a quick break? Because I would love to have actually another input on this same topic. Go ahead.
There's something we used to learn in mathematics. It was called inequalities. There's a topic that was called inequalities. And some people, I think a lot of stuff I learned in school is so irrelevant. And so I try to sometimes force it into real life and understand it. Inequality is where you'd find an equation like 7 less than or equal to x less than 10. And so I try to look at relationships in this kind of an equation. Let me tell you, gentlemen, whether you like it or not, there's never a relationship, and I think from where I'm coming from, this I can ascertain. There's never a relationship where the energies are at par. At any given relationship, you'll always find there's someone who wanted the other more than the other one needed them. And so, for some reason, one is settling for something, and one has gotten their trophy in that same arrangement. So, it depends on who you are. And I think that's where Matasio came in with a very interesting point and said, the person who quits is the person who has been troubled the most. Half the times, you could be in a relationship where you are the trophy to the partner, and that means the partner really, really places you up there. And in which case, in this relationship, you will find yourself as the person settling. What does it mean, settling? It means, had you gotten better options, this wouldn't be the person you would have. And I think at all times it is that. And the other person in their case, they will have chosen you. That means you would be the trophy. Chances are, with these inequalities, and well, sometimes, you know, in this life, tunasemanga Otile Brown alisema, anaye kupenda umpendi, unampenda asiyekupenda. You know, it's that entire thing, entanglement. So, well, ideally we want a relationship where we've set our goals right and we have agreed on what we want to forge for. But half the times, but half the times you find you are in that situation. So when you are in that situation, the moment you are the person who has settled for the other one, shida kidogo tu hivi, you are gone. Because you have no reason to stay there. But still, I think, as Matasio says, men being the head of things and being the captains, and especially on advanced relationships, you're talking now marriages and stuff like that, it becomes very hard for a man to walk away.
Okay. Let's catch on that one as we hold on that aspect of Eshuchi and Matasio. Tumesema hivi tuache Eshuchi angare tafadhali. We have Gori who says, Mensen, siku hizi, you'll excuse me, my monitor today, it's really not in proportion with my eyesight, so kindly bear with me. Siku hizi hata on the other side, the streets are not safe. In whose hands are we safe? Just Carol says, kila mtu acheze na ligi yake. Kama uwezani songa. Hello, handsome people from the men's, and hello to you. Gentlemen, I know we have questions that we are supposed to answer as men, but if you had a question that will ask a lady, Eshuchi, what would be that question? Why do they make our lives difficult? That would be my question. What would be your question, Eshuchi?
A question I would ask ladies.
One question, yes, about all this fiasco.
I'll just ask ladies, why are they dishonest?
Great. Matasio, what would be your question to a lady?
Why not just be straight?
Brings it back to honesty. So let's take a quick one, and when we come back, we will have a lady actually answering that question.
Juu anapenda chapati na hana pan. Uliona ile mimi msichana mwenye anaendanga kwa boyfriend na pan? Huyo msichana ni mimi. Nitaendelea
unabeba pan from your hostel to his hostel.
Nilikuwa naweka pan kwa kibeti, ninaenda kupikia boyfriend.
Lakini wewe ndu, how are you even
mke nyumbani?
So that is the Girls Talk every single Wednesday right here on the Arts and Hearts. So join Freedom Guku, Nyariko 254, and of course Noreen Ambata. Right now, we are talking to the gentlemen. While my therapist wameenda leave, so we'll give them some time to go and do their practicals, the therapy. As we expect a lady to join us in the discussion tonight to answer those questions. Do you believe in Matasio, dishonesty? It's the now lifestyle, because 1 minute they want this, the other minute they want the other one.
It is a bit hard to call it dishonesty, but it's also what it is. It's also what it comes out to be. Because you see, there is, when we go back to courtship, we talked about last time we were talking about the skeletons. You see, that's where it all begins. You see, when you're in courtship, that is the time of opening up and putting your cards on the table. And I remember a time ago when I mentioned about traditional courtship, when they even send the aunties to the family of your spouse to go and check things out, to go say, what kind of family is this? How do these people grow up? And it is not a kind of investigative. It is also just to know, like, what kind of presents would they like. You understand? Because it's very normal. For example, if you have a girlfriend and you want to give her a surprise, then the sister becomes handy, the brother becomes handy, the auntie becomes handy, because you can ask them, anapenda nini? You see, what do they like? Because sometimes it's very difficult. Even for me, it's very difficult if somebody asks me, what do you like on your birthday? It's very difficult because I go like, first of all, I appreciate everything. So from that moment is when we realize that the honesty begins to build. Because a road that starts on honesty and trust, nobody wants to quit. That's the first thing. Nobody wants to quit. And it doesn't mean that your spouse or your partner is the perfect one. For example, it may be normal for people to lie. Let me not say lie, to keep away some information. You understand? Because I'm not going to tell you if I was good in mathematics at school or not. You understand? I'm not going to tell you if I'm good in finance or not. Maybe I have a job, everything is okay. But the more you go on, you realize, hey, maybe this lady or this guy is not very good in handling money. It has nothing to do with there is a thief or what. But they're just like, I know friends, I have had relationships where you say, okay, now you're going to the supermarket. Sometimes you budget 1,000, the other one will go to 5,000. Sometimes you budget 5,000, the other one will go to 2,000. Just because let's go. So you realize those things, you start to realize, okay, maybe people have got shortcomings. Yeah. There are some who have shortcomings with time. There are some who have got shortcomings with appointments. There are some who have got shortcomings with just keeping to their word. You have to remind them sometime, And that has nothing to do, mostly it is just who people are.
That's who people are. Let me cut you short for a minute. I don't know why our lady guest keeps playing traffic lights on us, but we are trying to identify. Sorry?
She's afraid of me.
Why? Are you scary?
The truth is coming. No, go on. Just a joke.
No, it's okay. Shuchi, dishonesty is the problem, and that's why we decide when to end the relationship. And when we begin, we are saying it's for better and for worse, and then you realize the person presenting themselves has nothing compared to what they pitched when they were doing the pitching and trying to present the ideal woman in your life. Would you rather learn these tricks or rather learn this ideal person during the time you're courting, or you discover them as life has built up? Where at what stage afadhali akuambia ukweli uongo?
It's first of all very difficult to actually learn somebody. What I noticed is you'll only learn as much as someone lets you learn about them. We have people in 20 years of marriages who just all of a sudden discover something they did not know about. But one thing that I think, because now this one I'm speaking from statistics and from experience, people will say whatever they want, but most of the male friends that I know who have suffered in the hands of ladies and women who claimed to be okay with something, or who claimed to be in this particular caliber of a place. And then in the course of the relationship, they started demanding more and more and more and more. And like Matasio was saying, a lot of men have gotten into serious financial situations because of demands that they were unable to meet. And so, of course, yeah, you got married to someone who told you they would understand you, someone who told you you could grow together, someone who told you you could end up wherever you are, and all that. And you forgot these. And so when you are in it, you see girls, men hang in parks just when you're going to probably watch football or something. And people like me who don't watch football, you'll find yourself just on your own with your job, trying to make your ends meet. Females are always hanging out in parks. They have chamas, they're going out, they have a ladies' night and all that. And in this, and you see the female emotional structure is very volatile to foreign information. And that's why it's very easy. You just need to, that's why it's even easy for me to come for your girlfriend, Ellie. I just need some time to sit with her and tell her how better a man I am than you. And perhaps she could just see it differently. So during these conversations, comparison kicks in. This was just your woman who was comfortable. She was just okay with everything. And then all of a sudden, she comes home and now she's asking you, okay, and ask, why can't we even be going for vacations? Why can't we even be doing this and that? And you start now sensing these things. Can I tell you one red flag that I tell people all the time? And I know people are going to come blazing at me. One red flag. If you are not in the same age group, achana na huyo msichana.
What?
Yes.
Nyanduko 254 is here to defend the female gender who have been keeping us on the weight kwa sababu they demanding more than they can offer. 254, how are you and good evening? Welcome to the Men's Den, and in your own opinion, tuambie.
First of all, that was too much information to take in at once. But yes, I am part of the Men's Den today. And I'm not going to give the female perspective, as you call it. I'm going to give the Nyanduko 254 perspective. Because if I say I'm speaking for the females, that will be a whole different story. Because people will start telling me, did we send you? So I'm not going to speak for I'm not going to speak for the whole gender. I'm going to speak for myself. Now, you've said, I've had a Shuchi say at being with a woman who is not in your age group. By the way, that is a very good thing. Do not date a woman who is many years younger than you or older than you, because that's the whole another story. It is very hard to understand a woman who is way younger than you, because first of all, the things they want and the things you want are totally different. They're basically children. Eshuchi, you dating a 24-year-old, a 23-year-old, I don't know how old you are. That is not safe. And I'm going to echo what Zulu said some time back. I know ladies are going to come at me for this, but under 25s, we still have things we're figuring out. And just stay away from under 25s. Matasio said the question he wanted to ask a lady is, why can't you be honest? Why can't you say the truth? A lie comes easier I'll speak for myself, to me as a person, because sometimes it's for convenience. Sometimes you do not want to look bad. Utaki to look bad. Unajua. So you lie to protect self, to protect image, and sometimes you just lie because you want to lie. Sometimes lying is fun, and it depends who you're lying to. But I don't usually lie. Well, sometimes I do. I'm not a liar. I'm not a serial liar, but sometimes I lie for convenience. I don't have a scenario right now, but I'll give you a scenario as we go where you lie for convenience. Oh, like let me give you a scenario. Like for example, age. Sometimes you meet someone like Eshuchi Sasa Hapa, the way he has said he's not going to date under 24s, under 25s, and then I'm up for 23, approaching the 25 mark. And I'm like, this is the guy, this is the person. And now he wants to disqualify me because I am not 25. And then he asks, how old are you? The first instinct is to tell him 26. Unless I teach ID, and that is not a very easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I should take this here or if I should just assume I didn't hear that, because I know one famous celebrity back then that got into trouble because of operating with minors and saying he didn't know. And now you are here telling us you will actually lie to get this man.
It happens. And not to side with Kibe, by the way. I know it's Kibe you're talking about. Not to side with him. He's one person we talk about a lot on Atin Heart. But sometimes it is an honest thing. He didn't know, maybe. But maybe another thing is a pedophile for real. But sometimes you really don't know, because girls nowadays, we have these big bodies, and it is very hard to ask a lady how old she is. And that makes you not a perfect gentleman because you're asking how old someone is. And now you ask someone their age and they feel like you're the guy. The age thing is going to bring it's going to be the deal breaker. And they tell you the age that you want to hear. So, mutatuzoea. This our gender, we have complications.
Eshuchi, before I let Matasia, because Matasia is burning with the rejoinders.
No, that's a light comment.
I will go back to this age thing. Apparently, for me, I'm starting to feel like it's where we could be getting a solution from. And I think I get a lot. A lot makes sense to me when coming from Nyanduko right now, because amongst the first 5 questions I'd ask you after meeting you would be your age. For some reason, that is a question I will ask you on an instant. What's your name? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, what do you do perhaps? What's your age? Because for me, let me tell you one thing. We have this entire debate around maturity and all that. A section of women came up and said, women mature faster than men. Total lies. What happens is, at a particular age, a woman is viable to be approached by any sort of a man. So you find a 21-year-old girl or a 19-year-old girl who will be approached by a 30-year-old guy. And because the two are okay with that arrangement, they will get into something. Now, by association, the girl will start feeling that she's older. So when she comes to her age mates, she starts saying, you know what, I deal with older men because I'm mature, we are mature. There's nothing mature about her. And yeah, she could be mature, she could be spot on in terms of thought, in terms of reason, in terms of precision, but there is an aspect of experience that you can never overrule in this world. It is a step of progression. Experience is a step. You want to date a woman who understands what it means to be broke, to lack, and to actually go on a hungry stomach. That way, this kind of a woman will wake up tomorrow and know, you know what? Today this dude had some cash. Tomorrow he lacks some cash, and it is okay because I understand. Now you want to go dating a teenager or a 20-year-old, and then their biggest dream is just to have the best phone, the nice photos, and look good on the gram. And you hear on. They don't understand when you tell them we need to prioritize. When you tell them, Manze, you know what? Today we can't take a cab. Can we just hop onto a matatu and get where we're going because of this and that and that? Okay, today I have 2,000 shillings. Why, instead of us going out, can we buy groceries and make food in the house? They don't get these little nitty-gritties because the experience is not there and it's lacking. And the other problem could be the men themselves, because then now you have these really old men, who are now prying on the really young ones. Now they are depriving the young women of the realities of the world. Ellie, you cannot tell me. I am in Kenya here, and we have friends. You see people going on vacation every weekend. It is not practical. We know it. You guys are in first world countries and you know it. You cannot afford to be going on destinations every weekend, cuisines here and there. We know the jobs you do. We are not auditing your lives, but we know what is sustainable for what you make. Now, this means you are already prying on someone else's resource. This person is depriving you of the reality. Because then once it's all said and done, and now you have to face the reality, you want to go back to someone who's eligible to marry you or stay with you. Someone who's eligible to marry you or stay with you will have expectations. Now, you want to step down your life from clubbing every weekend, from doing all these trips every weekend, to come down and now start doing what? Living in a bedsitter somewhere or living in a one bedroom. And that's why now you find men suffering from funny standards. Someone comes at you and tells you, manze, kawalet yako haiko, mimi hatuna biashara tunaongea. Like, I met someone the other day, and she tells me, I don't date men from this hood. What sort of reasoning is that? Yes. You see, and these are the things now we are talking about. So by the time you meet these genuine men, by the time you meet men who want to actually settle you down, you have gone through very impractical life expectations, life experiences, and your demands are impractical and unrealistic. And for some reason, by the time this guy realizes whoever he was hooked up with, Manze, you call it quits. Unaishia.
I wanna come to you, Matasi, and of course in Nyanduko 254. But before I do that, allow me to take a few comments here. We have Frida, who says, I don't think it's dishonesty. We just don't say as it is. We don't really get open about what we really want.
I want to counter that before you continue. Just bring back Frida's comment.
Me too.
Frida's comment is what we call in English literature paradox. Like, there's so much about that statement that contradicts its own self. So if you know that you are not dishonest and you don't say it as it is, and you're really not open about what you want, then we have no discussion here. Go think about your lives and then come tell us what you want.
Nyanduko, you go first, Nyanduko?
Yes. She has said it is not really dishonesty. We just don't say it as is. What is that? It is not dishonesty. You're not saying it as is. It is lying by omission, maybe. Like you're withholding information to say something that that suits this person. It's like meeting a guy, and in your head you had this expectation you want a tall, dark, and handsome, and then you meet dark and handsome minus the tall. Now and then this guy asks you, what is your type? And now because maybe he has the car, the car that you want, he has the lifestyle. You feel like he'll give you the lifestyle that you want. He'll take you to Naivasha and whatnot. And now he asks you, what is your type of a guy? And now because this guy is not tall and you want to soothe his ego, you tell him dark and handsome, any height, but mostly short. That is not what you want. Well, I'm not saying that is what I want. That is not what you want. But because the man in this particular situation, the man that is in this particular situation is dark and handsome minus the tall. I don't call men short. Minus the tall. Now you're here soothing his ego, because men love their ego massaged. I'm not talking about all the men, but the men that I've encountered.
The men that you've encountered.
Yes, love to have their ego massaged, remind them that you are the man. At the end of the day, you are the man. So if you find a guy with dreadlocks like Ellie, personally, I don't like dreadlocks. But now you realize he's financing your lifestyle. He's letting you drive sometimes and take those Snapchat photos in his car and whatnot. Uku nini, gunshot is you calling shots every other day. That is what I'm assuming 23-year-olds and 23-year-olds are doing. I'm older than that. now you have to, what do you like? I like tall guys who have dreadlocks. But at the end of the day, it's not what you like, That is what Frida is talking about when she says we are not really honest about what we want. We just we say what we want in a particular situation. And that is why Eshuchi, you said some time back that it is very hard to understand a woman, because they want different things at different situations. She could tell you she wants Italian right now because she's sitting with some guy who looks classy, and the next time she wants him to write, and you do not understand the relationship. And that is just this human being called a woman. It is a lot to take in.
Well, I do agree with you, because Boniface says, Frida Nguku, that is true. If women were university course, some of us will never graduate because we'll get soups every other semester. African man, I want to engage you, sir. And in my engagement, I would like to ask you this. Do you believe women actually choose the packaged man versus the genuine man? What's your take?
That's where the problem is. That's where the big problem is. You see, to connect to Eshuchi, he just said when women choose for expectations. But there are two things here. There's no problem with the packaged man. You see, when we talk about the packaged man, when you are packaged, when you package yourself, it means you have a clear goal. You are targeting someone. If I leave home, I put on a suit, I take a Jaguar, I change everything, and I go to the center of the city. I am sure.
By now, we all know Matasio is driving a Jaguar. But carry on, sir.
No, rent, not even drive. So at that moment, you're packaging yourself to give a certain image. You understand? Now, then that's a packaged man. This has nothing to do with that this man can be a good father or not. This has nothing to do with this guy can pay even your drink there or not, because he is already packaged himself. And when somebody packages themselves, they are looking for a particular target. You understand? If I package myself that way, maybe it means I'm looking for a certain kind of beauty. You understand? It may only be beauty. It may nothing to do with whether this person has got a good heart or not. So now the problem becomes, because the confusion. First of all, the problem is, and this one a lot of women will attack me. Mom Tatupa, I'll be stoned at. But that's where the biggest confusion is. Because in as much as men are seen as hunters, so it's like you choose and you go for it. But you see, women also, it's a kind of choosing, who has hunted me. It's not a kind of a bullet you take, then it kills you. It's a bullet you take, you say, this one I like. So at the end of the day, there is the mutual choice. Okay, this guy is okay. So the issue of the packaged man versus the genuine man is where the problem is. That's where the big problem is. Because in our generation, and even traditionally, a woman, which is unfortunate, which I don't agree with it in some cases, but it's so unfortunate that as an African man, we have grown up in a society where you are the caretaker. You are the head of the family. You are the one to go fight for the other one. You are the one to solve the problem that comes with it. So at that moment, you realize there are a lot of genuine men out there. But because of them being invisible, because of the female confusion with the sunglasses of packaged men, a lot of genuine men are becoming packaged. You understand? So at the end of the day, I know I'll be lied to. I know they'll be not genuine in the beginning. So we package ourselves and get ready to receive lies, and then later on, check it out. Because where the problem always comes is, you like it or not, the women come out more hard than the men. That is something you say you want to play around for 20 years. You start playing at 30. Okay? You are a man, you are 30. There is a lady, she's 30. You say we play for 20 years. By the time this woman says, now I want to stop playing, she's 50. When a man says, I stop playing, you are 50. If this woman has not gotten a family at 50, I think it'll be a very hard work for her to get a man, settle down, start a family at 50. For a man, it's very easy. For a man, it's very, very easy to pick up your life at 50 Biologically, I'm talking about. From you start your family from 50, you can still have 15 or 20 kids. A woman, you start your family at 50, you are lucky if you got 2 children, healthy ones. Facts of biology, facts of science, facts of life. You understand? So now, where does the quitting come in? The quitting only comes in when you realize, do I want to waste time or do I want to build a life? The women have got a biological watch, clock, we say. They have got a biological clock. Men, actually, we just have the legacy clock. There are men who get at 60, get young girls of 30, start a family, and their legacy goes on. It's more difficult for women. So, for me, the question of packaged man versus the genuine man is awareness that we should have to give to the women. When is it a packaged man and when is it a genuine man? Now, I cannot advise every woman, or I cannot advise every daughter. Let's say I'm still young to advise women. I can say advise daughters. It is where the crucial part of it all is, like, why are you getting involved? What are you getting into? For example, you see, when you talk about age, I mentioned when Shuchi says, like, age is one of the first 5 questions I ask. For me, after my first 2-3 questions, I'll tell what your age is, and I won't ask. In my culture, it's a bit rude to ask a lady what age it is, where I come from, basically. It's a bit rude to ask a lady what their age is. But being a genuine man than a packaged man, you already have a way of telling a lady's age. You know, when you talk about the career, when you talk about where she went to school, when you talk about all those things, you get her age bracket. So that one is very easy to tell. It's very easy to deduce. And I know some men get a little bit confused with all these physical appearances and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, what I find quite critical is that a man knows very well when he wants to be packaged, when he wants to package himself, and when he wants to be genuine. That's the most important thing. The only thing is it creates a lot of confusion to the women, because the biggest confusion in a lot of ladies is not knowing really what they want at what particular time. When you are sure, when you're going in for packaged men and you're looking for settlement, you are taking the wrong way. But when you're going in for packaged men and it's fun you're looking for, it is okay with you. You'll survive and you'll have so much fun. But and also the idea that we come from a culture, especially as African people, we come from a culture where a lot of our traditions are based on the fact that a man will always provide. So, in the sense, traditionally, instinct-wise, women, when you go in for, like, you are looking for a man who can provide for you, that's, you know, not only financially, we're talking about security, we're talking about self-esteem, we're talking about reassurance, you know, that guy who's always like, you are on the right path, you know, and just like that side. So that one becomes a problem at the end. Just to finish, Eddie, I know you're cutting short. Just to know that when is it in courtship that you put off all those things? Now we're not talking about being packaged. Maybe yesterday I took you to Hilton, but I can do it once in a year. It is not every day. Maybe I took you to Mombasa for holiday, but that's not every weekend. That was the package me. But now the genuine me, I'm a watchman. I eat meat once or twice a week. Can we cope up? That's where the problem begins. Because in as much as ladies come, they'll put a lot of makeup. After you come Kasubu, you'll forget them. So do men come packaged. But when all those packages are gone, when all that makeup is gone, what?
Matasi, if you want to talk to me directly. Don't go through the corners.
I told you are afraid of me before I came in, but I'm not talking to you alone. I'm talking to you and all our sisters. So
Fine.
But
in the interest of time, I'll have to cut you, Matasio. I think we've had enough lecture from you tonight, and it makes a lot of sense. Nyanuko, because you've been off and on, I would like to ask you this question that is being posed as a recommendation by Ruth. Ronaga says 90-day system works.
Yeah. I agree
the
with that.
90-day rule? Is it something you go for?
Mimi, I will be very honest and very blunt with you guys. I honestly, personally, for me, I do not see the point of doing a 90-day trial and whatever period. If we click on the first date and I feel like this is it for me, like if we have good conversation and I think this is what I want, I will go for it. I do not know why people do the 90-day. They have their reasons, but it is not for me personally. I have a rejoinder on what Matasio has said about the package man and the normal day man. Sometimes we tend to live in some weird bubble. We live for the weekends, we live for the good times, and then when the rubber meets the road and it's time for reality, is when you start realizing, hey, kuosha vyombo is actually a thing. And sometimes we ladies live for memes. You see a meme that says, "Me cannot do, I cannot do utensils and I cannot cook. I'll order out every day." In what reality? In what reality? If you're using your money, like if you're on your budget now and you want to survive on takeout every day, is it practical? And that is how I chose to live my life. So I'm talking from a personal perspective. If I cannot do it for myself consistently every day, if I cannot take myself on vacations every other weekend, why would I sit somewhere and expect that there is someone's son somewhere who will take me on those vacations every weekend? Unless it's a sponsor, that's a whole different business. That is a whole another thing. But if it is just someone's son that I want to settle down with, I do not think. And Ellie, a quick one. Many ladies nowadays, from a research I read, settle down, get married, not because they want to get married, but they get married for convenience and for provisions. People get married or settle down with guys so that they can have accommodation, so that they can have, constant food, constant shelter. And it's actually a thing that happens.
They want to be salvaged from misery.
Thank you. So you come, someone is salvaging you from misery. Aki, I'm going to get stones for the discussion I'm holding today. Someone is salvaging you from misery and you want to come with demands. I honestly think that if someone is helping you from a situation, you need to calm down and be humble and take what is offered. Eli, if nikikansoliwa na wamama, it is you.
I would really love to know, Shuchi completed your sentiment. Can we just have Shuchi actually comment on that? How we've become the new messiah for these miserable people that we call our better halves. And that's why we are suffering in these relationships.
A correction, not everyone. It is not a collective noun for every woman who gets into marriage.
Nyanduko, okay? Whoever will come for you, bring them to me. Stop fearing.
Okay, so now I want to be politically correct.
Now let me just tell you. Let me tell you guys something. I think for me, my arguments are really, I base them on practical experiences. Some of the best couples I know, to be very, very honest, some of the best couples I know in this life are age mates, and most of them are people who met back on campus. You know, the way we just join campus and then you have these two freshers who just start dating, and then these guys just start dating, and you're like, okay, we graduated 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, these guys actually marry, and those marriages work so well. I will tell you why they work. When you go for an older man, which is the current normal, of course, under the umbrella excuse of, I am too mature for my age mates, these ones are boys, I need men. When you go for the older man, let me tell this to the ladies, and take this from me, whether you like it or not. Men are not stupid. We know what you're coming for. So when you coming at me, at that age, giving me this vibe of, I need mature men. You need mature men. We can't even talk business with you. When I'm seated there working, all you're doing is scrolling on your IG, because we are that worlds apart. Probably after sex, after the merry of sex, after having fun out there, that is as much as we go. So what happens then is, because I am the ultimate provider of the life that you want, as Nyanduko puts it, I become entitled. And when I become entitled, then I want you to do what I want. And that's why now you find these extreme ends of all funny violences here. We're not justifying them. We're just addressing their causes. Because when you are dating someone who is at when you're my age mate, I can pull one on you. When you ask me for a car, I can tell you you're also my age mate. Why can't you work and get your own car? Why can't you work and take me for vacation? Because that means we've had the same opportunities. We've gone to school at the same time. We finished school. We've had the same opportunities. But you see, you want to use the age excuse to give me an advantage so you can validate the demands you have for me. You are out of school. You've been working for a while. You need to be able to afford this for me. Well, that is water under the bridge. Now, when it comes to really when people need to make call this quit, and Matasio is saying the older one, I mean the one who's hurt the most, I will tell these to ladies, and sometimes I don't know why ladies don't see their disadvantages, because as Matasio puts it, I feel ladies get up in a lot of disadvantages. We've got lots of variational perspectives in relationships these days that I feel are messy. We've normalized things like friends with benefits. We've normalized things like one night stands. We've normalized casual sex. You have a girlfriend, I have a boyfriend, but we like each other. You can keep your girlfriend, I can keep my boyfriend, and we can do our thing on the side. What people don't realize is, in the end, I think women are naturally not wired to have these sorts of arrangements. Because in the long run, in a friend with benefits, imminently, the woman starts expecting more, demanding more, getting intimate, getting feelings. And then one day, someone who told you they didn't want anything serious with you just wakes up and asks you, okay, so who are we? I mean, I did not know. What are we? I did not know I would like you this much, but now I like you. And then it becomes an issue, and you're like, okay, why were you getting in an arrangement that is not workable for you? These variations are also really messing up things. And I think, like we talked in a previous episode of Men's Den, we have to start having conversations that can properly highlight what is, we have what is acceptable and what is admissible. Everything that is doable or possible is not acceptable all the time. We need to have conversations around what is right and what is wrong, and stop having these all shady variations and gray areas, all this and that. These arrangements are very dangerous. I see people, friends with benefits, now he has I have his baby, now I like him, I did not know I would like him, now he has a family. And then you start making men feel bad for situations that you probably even initiated. I even know of men who actually genuinely wanted someone for a relationship, a genuine relationship. The person came and they're like, no, I don't like you that way, but we can do our thing on the side. Then we're doing our thing on the side, things happen, boom, you're pregnant. I wasn't ready for this. I mean, you're the one who wanted something casual. Then all of a sudden, now I am trending all over as a deadbeat. Because you did not know what you wanted.
Eshuchi, I think what I'm getting is, which is actually true, is that females are very emotional beings. We do not know how to do things casually. And if a lady comes to you and tells you she wants a casual thing, run. That's a red flag, because there's nothing casual about it. Because tomorrow, yes, it's a red flag.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm cutting you. Kitu imeharibu wanawake ni memes. Memes zimeharibu wanawake in Nairobi.
Exactly.
Stay Taliban.
Stay dangerous. And then tomorrow, when you're catching feelings, people are saying catch flights, not feelings. It is not reality, because you will catch feelings properly. If you get a chick and you wake her vizuri and you're giving her good sex and everything else is fine, and she has constant accommodation, she has someone she can operate from as she does her other things. When all these other things are out of the way, she's starting about thinking to settle down. Wewe ndo unakuja in mind. And then she tells you, let me get your baby as a friend. Fam, you're down for a big surprise, because the day you will say you're settling down with someone else, the way that wedding will be spoiled. We have a baby together. We actually have a baby together. So ladies, we don't do things casually, Ellie. We don't do
no casuality, and that's the point. You say I quit. Let's jump from you 254 and have Matasio give his closing remark. Matasio, is it time we thought about 50-50 before we get into trouble?
That's where I wanted to go to. First of all,
In a
I've been
minute,
blessed.
please. I know you are a good lecturer. In a minute.
Yes, I've been blessed to have these two cultures, the Kenyan culture and the Dutch culture. The Kenyan culture, where 75% of the female take it, that the man pays everything and the woman is just to come along. And the Dutch culture, which demands everybody pays 50-50. Whereby even a girl at 16-year-old, she demands she can go and start to live on her own, spend her own money, go to a club alone, and then she can invite a man today and a man can invite her tomorrow. So that 50-50 works. And it's in our cultures, it is there. It is something I would say to close my remarks. You like it or not, in this age, in this century, whether you are a man, you are a woman, if you don't have 50-50, you are lost. You umeshapotea. There must be from both sides. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you pay the bill 50 euro, 50 euro. No. It means there must be something coming in from the other side, and there has to be something coming from the other side. It's all a 50-50. Now, the age thing, I'll close down with it. It is one of the most irritating illusions. It's in Africa. It is also in Europe. I'll tell you the truth to cut it short, and this one let them, my fellow sisters in diaspora, stone me. It's been a bit fashionable, to get an old Mzungu who's already in diapers. And you may live a very comfortable life of an average of 6-7 years. Because when you get this Mzungu at 70 years old and you are 30, the process of procedure of in Europe settling gives you another 10 years. So you'll be legal, get all the things you want at when this guy is about 80 and you are about 40. But then you realize his own firstborn is already 45. You don't have inheritance. You don't have anything. Maybe you have got a child who is even confusing his own father to be the grandfather. And now you want to go out there and date, my friend. Things are gone bad by that time, and it's always just too late. So go in for 50-50, listen to Eshuchi, keep to your age line, and things will be okay. That's my closing remarks.
Well, should I say Eshuchi 1 minute and Nyanduko 1 minute before I close it down? Eshuchi, please.
I will ask him your age on the first day. I will tell you I don't have money when I don't have it. And at any given point, I always tell men, position yourself in a place. If you are in a place to help a woman, don't be a handout guy. Position yourself in a place where you can help her otherwise. Open opportunities for her, incite her, help her network. No handouts. Manze, mimi handout nitakupatia kama umekwama kwa fare. But oh, you just want some lose 5K somewhere. Tricky.
Sana.
I am also for the 50-50 thing. I know it's very strange coming from me. It is not like 50-50 as in 50-50 like Matasio said. Bring something to the table. What are you bringing? And don't just come empty-handed and expect to receive. No one here has things for you to receive. And lower your expectations. If you're not bringing much to the table, just lower them a little bit so that they can match what you're bringing. Put your mouth where your money is so that you're not expecting too much and what you're bringing is just too little for, for anyone to take it. The only way you can be respected as a woman and the only way someone can see you as a woman of substance and quality and all these things we call ourselves is when you actually bring something to the table. It does not necessarily have to be money. It can be opportunities. It can be a challenge. Challenge this person to be better. So don't just come with your mouth and looks and Snapchat filters. Bring something else to the table.
Well, let's bring something else to the table. Otherwise, we will quit because it's only comfortable when it's comfortable for both parties. And when it is a matter of one-sided event, then this is a scale of imbalance. Let's have this and more conversation tomorrow on the Girls Talk. As they say, this makeup is not nining. I have no idea if it's about the filters, but it's about the makers. But see you then. Until next time, have a great evening. My name is Likuyani Elliott. We have a Shuchi Lumumba all the way in Nairobi, Kenya. Matasio Kagwa in the Utrecht here in Holland. And of course, Nyanduko 254 in Nairobi, Kenya. Until next time, good night. God bless.